Welcome to Best 5. Get ready for the craziest, funniest, and most mind-blowing moments in history you probably didn't learn in school. Let's dive straight into number 5. Number 5. The Exploding Whale Incident, 1970. Let's kick things off with one of the strangest and funniest moments in history. The Exploding Whale Incident of 1970. Picture this. On the coast of Oregon, a massive dead whale washed ashore. The smell was unbearable, and the local authorities were stumped on how to get rid of it. Then someone had the brilliant idea of blowing it up with dynamite. Yes, dynamite. The logic? The explosion would reduce the whale into tiny bits that scavengers like seagulls could clean up. Genius plan, right? Well, not so much. When they lit the fuse, the explosion was far more powerful than expected. Whale chunks, yes, actual chunks, flew hundreds of feet into the air and rained down on everything. Cars, buildings, and unfortunately, the horrified crowd watching from a distance. One massive piece even crushed a car. Instead of solving the problem, the town was left with an even bigger mess, a smellier beach, and a story that would become a legendary cautionary tale of bad planning. Can you imagine standing there thinking you're about to witness history, only to end up dodging flying whale guts? This bizarre event still gets people talking decades later. But seriously, who thought this absolutely chaotic and outrageous idea was a good one? Number 4. The Great Emu War of Australia, 1932. Now, let's dive into one of the most bizarre wars in history, the Great Emu War. Back in 1932, Australian farmers faced an unexpected invasion, not by soldiers, but by 20,000 emus. These large, flightless birds had decided to take over the farmland in Western Australia, devouring crops and leaving destruction in their wake. The government, desperate to help farmers, declared war on the birds. Yes, you heard that right. They sent soldiers armed with machine guns to deal with the problem. The plan? Simple. Eradicate the emus. But here's where things got hilarious. These birds proved to be nearly impossible to defeat. They were fast, agile, and incredibly coordinated, way more than the soldiers expected. Even with thousands of bullets fired, the emus outsmarted and outran their human adversaries. After weeks of chasing the birds and achieving, well, almost nothing, the military had to admit defeat. The emus officially won the war, leaving the government embarrassed and the farmers still struggling with the feathered invaders. Can you imagine losing a war to birds? And not just any birds, emus. This absurd episode still cracks people up to this day. But seriously, how do you even prepare for an opponent like that? Number 3. Pigeons awarded Medals of Honor. Let's talk about war heroes. You might picture soldiers, tanks, or even spies, but pigeons? Yes, during World War II, these feathered messengers saved lives in ways you wouldn't believe. With no GPS or advanced communication tech, armies relied on pigeons to carry vital messages across enemy lines. And let me tell you, these birds were nothing short of incredible. Take Cher Ami, for example, a pigeon that flew through gunfire to deliver a message that saved nearly 200 soldiers. Shot in the chest and blinded in one eye, Cher Ami still completed the mission. This bravery earned her the French Croix de Guerre, one of the highest military honors, and she wasn't alone. In total, 32 pigeons were awarded the Dickin Medal, known as the animal equivalent of the Victoria Cross, for their life-saving contributions. These birds dodged bullets, braved storms, and sometimes flew hundreds of miles to ensure critical information reached its destination. Now, imagine being a soldier, depending on a tiny bird to get your message out while enemy fire rains down. It's both humbling and kind of mind-blowing. So, the next time you see a pigeon, maybe give it a little salute. because you never know. It might be a descendant of a wartime hero. Number 2. Queen Elizabeth II's Olympic cameo with James Bond. Imagine tuning into the 2012 London Olympics and expecting a formal opening ceremony, and suddenly, Queen Elizabeth II jumps out of a helicopter with James Bond. Yes, you heard that right. This unforgettable moment combined the British monarchy's elegance with pure Hollywood flair, leaving millions around the world utterly stunned. The scene begins with Daniel Craig as 007 walking into Buckingham Palace, where Her Majesty herself appears, playing along as if it were any regular royal day. Together, they board a helicopter that soars over London. Then, in the most jaw-dropping twist, the Queen skydives into the Olympic Stadium, with the help of a stunt double, of course. This moment wasn't just funny, it was revolutionary. It showcased the Queen's sense of humor and her willingness to embrace modern pop culture in a way no one could have expected. Seriously, when was the last time you saw royalty paired with a secret agent? Now here's a question for you. If you were James Bond, which historical figure would you team up with for the ultimate stunt? Let us know. Meanwhile, this iconic cameo remains one of the quirkiest, coolest moments in Olympic history. Number 1. The time a pope declared war on cats. Now this might sound too wild to be true, but it happened. In the 13th century, Pope Gregory IX declared war on cats, specifically black cats. He claimed they were instruments of the devil and ordered their extermination across Europe. Yes, an actual papal decree led to one of the strangest mass cullings in history. Here's the catch. This so-called war on cats had some seriously unintended consequences. Without cats to control the rodent population, rats thrived. And what came with those rats? The Black Death, one of the deadliest pandemics in human history. Ironically, the very creatures branded as evil might have been humanity's unlikely saviors had they been left alone. Imagine living in a time when people blamed cats for dark forces and didn't realize they were upsetting nature's balance. It really makes you wonder how many of our modern-day fears are based on misconceptions. So here's the million-dollar question. Were cats truly villains, or did they pay the ultimate price for human paranoia? Share your thoughts below. This bizarre chapter in history teaches us that sometimes our greatest threats come not from the things we fear, but from the actions we take to eliminate them. And that's a wrap for today's Top 5. Which moment surprised you the most? Let us know, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories like this. Until next time.